What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the ynggpodcast. We're going to be talking about the Anthony Beauvillier trade. So he's on the move again for the second time in as many months, second time this season to be exact. Actually, first gets traded from the Vancouver Canucks to the Chicago Blackhawks. Now he's being moved once again to the Nashville Predators for a 2024 fifth round pick. So obviously, you know he's a former first round pick. He's been traded, three times in the past year and a half, I would say. Drafted originally by the New York Islanders in the first round, 28th overall in 2015, currently 26 years old. Um, you would expect a lot more, production from a guy who's playing on a very depleted offensive team in the Chicago Blackhawks, but that's not the case. He only has 6 points in 23 games with the Blackhawks. So, not the best of numbers and, pretty underwhelming. So, yet again, he's on the move and he's going to a playoff team this time, the Nashville Predators, who we all thought were going to be sellers, but they went on a massive winning streak and, they decided to add some depth and, take a chance on Beauvillier, who gets yet another chance on another NHL team. So, Luca, what are your thoughts essentially on this depth forward?
Well, this is a guy that, kind of bounced around the last two seasons, went from the Islanders to Vancouver. It didn't really work out in Vancouver and then went to Chicago and is now, he's ended up in Nashville now. Um, I think, look, 26 years old. This is a guy that, can play on your third line, can play on your fourth line. I think he just needs to find his system again. I mean, he's not a bad hockey player. He's proven that he can score goals. He's proven that he can generate points and still be good on the defensive side of things a little bit as well. It just hasn't worked out for him. It didn't work out for him this season in Vancouver and also in Chicago in the time that he played. So I think with Nashville, it's a low risk deal in the sense that they give up just a draft pick for him, which it's a low end draft pick, so not too big of a deal. And you're getting a guy who might be able to find his rhythm in Nashville on a team that's playing some really good hockey right now, and who's well coached by Andrew Brunette. So I like the type of team that they have. They're building a young core over there, but he's a guy that can fit into that team. If you look at their top six, I mean, he can kind of slot in maybe where Trenton is or where Cody Glass is or even where Sissons is, or you could even throw him on the third or fourth line with guys like Mark Jankowski being there or even a guy like Kiefer Sherwood. So there's definitely an opportunity for Beauvillier to come in and play a role for them. Obviously, they have some young guys like Evangelista and Cody Glass and Tommy Novak who have all played really good hockey. But at the same time, you're adding a guy like Beauvillier with experience who knows, you can get at least 30, 40 points out of him during a regular 82 game season. So, I think it's a good move for Nashville. It's a low risk, potentially high reward, and for a team that's going into the playoffs, you're going to need as much reinforcement as possible. So you pick up a guy with some good depth, and a guy who needs a little bit of a change of scenery, and didn't cost you much to do it. So I like it. Nice move from Barry Trotz and the Preds, and hopefully Beauvillier is going to be able to turn things around in Nashville.
Yeah, and there was so much interest, in terms of Yakov Trenin and Tommy Novak. Tommy Novak gets an extension with the Preds. Trenin, I'm hearing that it's unlikely that they trade him, and they just want to keep the team as is. And you look at this team, there's nothing really flashy. It's there's no one that really stands out apart from probably Philip Forsberg. But everyone else, like they're not names that pop, but they get the job done, and they're just a well meshed hockey team that's really well coached, like you said, by Brunette, and you know uh they have a vision essentially, and they could trade and liquidate assets if they like to, but they're deciding to stick with the roster that they have right now. And Barry Trotz at the helm of it all as the general manager on this team, I think he's done a fantastic job in his first season. He said from the beginning that his intention was for this team to make the playoffs, and it looks very likely at this point in time. So Beauvillier, he could slot in really anywhere, and they're just adding another depth defenseman, and I think I don't know where they would necessarily start him off, but I do agree that they could potentially play on the second line, third line. I don't know if the fourth line would really do him any good, but I definitely see him in the second or third line role. Um, with the Chicago Blackhawks, he was playing third line minutes with Tyler Johnson and Taylor Radish. So I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to receive third line minutes as well. And he was on the second power play unit, so maybe there's an opportunity for him to potentially get some power play time. As of right now, I think it's pretty locked in terms of their two power play units. But obviously, with injuries or if players are on a little bit of a cold streak, he could definitely slot in there. But yeah, I definitely like this move. Low risk, high reward signing for them. He's going to be a UFA at the end of the season. He's currently being paid $4.1 million around.
Was there retention on the deal?
Yeah, we're gonna check right now, and no, there wasn't. They just accepted the pick that was traded to
Wow.
Vancouver.
So so Nashville takes on the full contract. That's interesting. So Chicago didn't even have to retain salary for Beauvillier.
Both times,
That's a
both
good
times.
move. That's a
The
good move for
The
Chicago.
Vancouver and Chicago trade that didn't happen in terms of retention, and here again, but you could. It's
Wow.
like, why would they? Look how much cap space they have in
No,
dead
no, I
cap
know, but
space.
it's just one of
Like,
those things that, like, for a guy who makes 4.1 million, he's kind of struggled this season. If you want to make, but I guess, yeah, I guess the Preds have cap space, so it doesn't really matter.
yeah, they have so much cap space. He's a UFA. If it doesn't work out, he walks. But
That's
would
true.
you like to add anything else in terms of this breakdown?
No, I think it's good. I mean, like I said, like the move, good low risk, and we'll see what happens.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, guys, for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Preds fans, Blackhawk fans would like to hear your analysis in the comment section below, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Young Guns podcast.